Welcome everybody to Adam Polish's Wednesday Live. For anyone that's new here, we do this every week on Wednesday, 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. I guess it depends on time of year. Mountain Daily Time or Mountain Standard, whatever time it is in Colorado. It's 1 o'clock. Every Wednesday, we pick a bunch of different topics, and I actually had a couple people, maybe it was one person reach out, and they wanted to hear about engine cleaning, and they were kind of specifically talking about like spring engine cleaning, which is roughly the same, but what I decided to do is the Ultimate Engine Cleaning Showdown. So we have 3 different vehicles here, and one of them's a little bit taller, a lifted 4Runner. Not crazy dirty, but you know, I can see definitely like a brown layer of dirt. Then we have a Subaru Crosstrek that has been neglected. And then we have a Volkswagen Tiguan, or Tiguan, however you want to say it. And it comes with a free handprint, so you can really see how dirty it is. And what I'm going to do is show you essentially, it's roughly the same process, but there's multiple products that you can do engine cleaning with. And so I have them here, but before I start actually jumping into this, I am going to announce the giveaway winner for the racing simulator that we gave away for our anniversary sale. It was our last big giveaway from the last week. And I think the only thing you had to do was get a mystery bucket, a 25th anniversary mystery bucket to be entered in to win. And I have the winner right here on my phone, but I'll probably wait a couple minutes just to make sure like enough people have joined the live. That will really, what I'm hoping is there's enough people that join the live, and one of those people is either the person or their friend, so they can let them know. But just before I jump into it, I will say we did just have a spring cleaning sale. We have some other cool stuff coming up here in April. I can't believe it's April yet. It seems crazy, but you know, this is the time of year when everyone's going to start getting out and washing. You know, I know like Southern California, Arizona, really like winter is the time you get out because it's like a little bit more mild weather. But for pretty much the rest of the country, other than, you know, California, Arizona, Texas, Florida, a lot of the places that still see decent weather, you know, Colorado, the Midwest, this is the time you get out and start cleaning your car. So with spring cleaning stuff, it's really, there's some specific processes on how you do it and products you use. And we've touched on that in previous videos. So if you want to check that out, go to our YouTube, find some spring cleaning videos that we've done. But today we're doing engine cleaning. And you know, I think one of the questions we get a lot, like, why would you even clean your engine? You know, and I think at Adams Polishes, when we think of car care, we really think of everything that you can touch and clean. We want to do that, right? There's a little bit of a pride factor, some high standards that we have when we're, whether you want to call it OCD or just, you know, an enthusiast of car care. You know, I think for me, my main reason of cleaning my engine is I always clean my engine right before I get, like literally the day before I get my oil changed. And part of it for me is, you know, maybe this is selfish, but I like having a super clean car and clean engine. So like those techs at the oil change place, I take mine to Les Schwab because it's right up the street here and they're great. But they're always like, man, your car is a 2008 and it's like the cleanest car we've ever seen. That like fulfills something inside of my soul, you know. But also I think part of it too is cleaning your engine implies how much you care for your car. So the techs and people working on your car are going to take even that much more care of it. So, you know, I think there's a pride factor in kind of having a high standard for how you care for your cars, but also, you know, how other people treat your cars as well. So, you know, I think engine cleaning is it's a very simple process. So because it doesn't take very long, it doesn't really bother me that much. So I actually like enjoy doing it. Having a clean engine is amazing. There's so many different surfaces that you can get perfect. And it seems difficult to do with like all the very like intricate areas, but with the right tools, the right products, you can really get them, or really get your engine looking really, really good. So
on the topic of products, Steven asks what you can use to dress your engine.
Yeah, Steven asked what you can dress your engine. Guess what, Steve? You have good luck, because I'm going to talk about that as well. Okay, so we're going to talk about things you can use to dress your engine, but also protect it. Also, at the aside from just dressing it, making it look nice. That's one of the big secrets when it comes to cleaning your engine. That little guy, not really little, but having a forced air unit is going to be really important when we get into this process. Now, before I jump into it, the other thing, a lot of times we talk about specific processes, but we don't really say like where it fits in the timeline of doing like the whole car. So if you're washing your car, you don't wash your car. You start with the wheels and tires first, right? So the reason why you start with the wheels and tires first is because you're trying to avoid getting water on the paint in the glass, to avoid getting water spots, right? After you're done cleaning each wheel and tire individually, one at a time, then you go into cleaning your engine. Because again, this is an easy way to avoid getting water on the whole car with getting water spots. So it kind of goes wheels and tires, engine bay, or maybe you could go wheels and tires, exhaust tips, then engine bay, and then finish the rest washing the rest of your car. So this is just kind of like along the way before you get into the actual washing, because you can really avoid putting a ton of water on the car, getting water spots. So that's kind of where it sits. And because of that, because when you clean your wheels and tires, when you go to clean your exhaust tips, you use the same tools that you use for cleaning your wheels and tires. Then when you get to the engine bay, same thing. You use the same products, mainly the same tools that you would use to clean your wheels, to clean your engine bay as well. And because like this 4Runner is a little bit taller, there's, if you have all the wheel cleaning tools, there's a couple different ones you can use to help you reach further and get into all those spots. So you ready for the giveaway, Chris?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh man, this is a big deal. I think this was like a $15,000 racing simulator giveaway. And by the way, this racing simulator is like all custom branded Adams polishes and everything. Really sweet setup. 3, panoramic view monitors, custom shifter, everything about it is legit. And so the winner of our racing simulator giveaway for our 25th anniversary, his name is Justin Hoffman from Longwood, Florida. Okay, so Justin Hoffman from Longwood, Florida, congratulations, you won the super amazing racing simulator setup. So bump for you, man. Podium 1 Racing Simulators, super high class, amazing company. They work with us to do this. So thank you to them for partnering with us to do this giveaway. And congratulations to Justin Hoffman of Longwood, Florida. I know you're going to love it. And hopefully it doesn't take up too much of your time. You can still clean your car. Don't get too caught up with racing on your simulator too much. But
RJ says, will there be a live episode on detailing and cleaning exhaust tips? Would really love to get some expert tips on that.
Who's asked that?
RJ.
Well, since you just asked it, yes, we will do that. Okay, maybe I'll do that next week, depending on weather. This time of year in Colorado, it's like hit or miss. Like today is 70, tomorrow's supposed to be 80, next week could be 40. I have no idea. It's like just a weird time for weather in Colorado, but if the weather cooperates, 100% we'll do exhaust tips next week. And exhaust tips it's a pretty like loaded topic. There's so many different kinds of material with exhaust tips. Like you have these aftermarket exhausts that are crazy expensive, anodized aluminum, like all this stuff. How do you take care of that? A standard stock like Suburban, there's another different way to do that. So next week we'll talk about that. That's actually pretty good topic. So hopefully Justin Hoffman was on here so he heard the announcement. But we'll probably announce it later too. He's gonna know. Imagine we don't announce it and it just like shows up at his house. It's just a pallet. He's like, what the heck is this? Okay. Chris, which one should I start with? So go left to right, like you read a book?
Sure.
Okay. We'll start on the 4Runner here. And I will say this. This engine bay has been protected already with the spray coating. And this is probably at least a year ago when that happened. And so you can see I refilled my coolant. So I got some dried coolant on here. There's definitely like a layer of dust. You can see I'll put a handprint on my, or on this engine as well. So what I want you to notice is when I start blasting this off with water, the water behavior with the plastic, because it has been treated with the graphene ceramic spray coating advanced, this exact product right here. And to be honest with you, when we get into the dressing and protecting section of this live video, this is kind of one of my favorite things to do as a foundation. So if you haven't done this, if you haven't done the spray coating on your engine and you want to make it easier to clean the next time, I highly recommend doing that, and I'll show you how to do that later. Yeah, I want you guys to see that. The other thing I do want to mention, this is like, I think a lot of people can be scared to clean their engine as well. So reason being is there's a lot of electrical throughout, okay? And I would say like pre-2000, maybe like leading up to 2005 and before that, a lot of those cars, especially like 90s, early 90s, late 80s, the computer system were just introduced to cars in the engineering process. And so back in those days, you didn't really have a lot of watertight seals for your electrical. So, you know, Adam, because he's been detailing forever, has a lot of stories of, you know, washing a 1980 something Mercedes, and he goes and blasts the engine off, and boom, the dashboard lights up like a Christmas tree because none of it's water sealed. So you really have to blow the water out and get it back to what it needs to be. But on more modern vehicles that do have, you know, a lot of the tubing as well as watertight seals, you don't have to worry about it as much. Now, I will recommend that a pressure washer is by far the best water source to use for blasting your engine off in the beginning. If you use a garden hose, it's just so much water. You know, I think, don't quote me on this, but for the most part, I think like a garden hose is putting out like 50 gallons a minute. Does that sound right, Chris? Maybe. It can't be that much.
Not 50.
Not 50. That's way too much. Let's look it up. How many GPM is a garden hose? Sorry, I was way off. Okay, let's say 12, not 50, okay? 12 gallons per minute. When we're using this pressure washer, which we have the Pro Pressure Washer 2.0, you're looking at close to 2 gallons per minute. So significantly reduced in how much water comes out, but the mixture of the pressure with the water, it's almost like a powerful mist. And so you're not overloading, you know, these areas with water, right? And then the other thing I do want to mention, so continuing on with the electrical, exposed electrical, if you do have that, you have an older car, or, you know, 90s era, late 80s, if you do have areas where you know where the computer is and it's exposed electrical, you can take like plastic wrap, or you can even take aluminum foil and cover it so the water goes on top and falls off and doesn't actually get incorporated with the exposed electrical. So covering it. The other thing that you want to take into consideration is if you have an exposed air filter. You know, so like some people will install a aftermarket air filter, or maybe it comes stock on a performance car, kind of will sit kind of in this area. Like my air filter sits right here, but if I installed a separate one, you know, it could potentially be here and exposed with like a wall around it. My dad's old truck, he had an old Ram 1500, like a 98. He added a K&N filter that sat like right here and it was exposed. If you have that, you can take like a gallon-sized Ziploc bag and just set it over the top of it, cover it, so you don't blast water straight into that. So an exposed air filter and then exposed electrical connections, you want to either put tinfoil over or plastic so it doesn't get water inside of this. Okay, that's very important, especially in like older vehicles like that. And I would say, you know, I think nowadays, it's 2025, if you have a late 80s, early 90s type of car, probably nowadays it'd be considered a classic car, you know? So oftentimes those cars aren't getting thrashed on like your daily driven vehicle that's more modern. So oftentimes you could even just take like waterless wash and wipe it down versus like needing to use water. you know, so just something to consider. So when we get into cleaning this, the first thing you want to do is blast this down with water.
Ken
By
Wilson has an unrelated question.
Yeah, Ken Wilson with an unrelated question.
What college did you pitch for?
What college did I pitch for? I pitched for a junior college, 2-year junior college in Fairfield, California, called Solano College. It was pretty sweet. At that time, the league that we were in was like one of the highest competitive leagues. It was quite the experience. I was at a junior college and we had like a full locker room with like every time we came into game day, like our jerseys were ironed and hung and they had sunflower seeds and food, and I mean, it was a cool experience. But Solano College, don't look me up. No, I'm just kidding.
Run a background check.
Yeah, I mean, you can. I have no secrets. Okay, so when it gets into cleaning the engine, I kind of like to start from the top working down, so you can see like on the painted areas it's pretty dirty as well, and a pretty crappy grill that's going to get replaced this summer. But when I go to do this, instead of kind of blasting it up this way, because if I blast it over the top, the water is going to go all the way over. Actually, like, this is something Adam taught me. I like to like kind of bring this down a little bit, and then I can aim sort of in towards the engine. And also when you have this up, the gap back here is pretty large. When I start to pull this down, it lessens the gap there, so you're not going to get as much water on your windshield and your cowl. And so take this, I'll just start blasting this down. You can actually see, I'll just leave this up for a second, because I've hit this with spray coating. Once I get through the dirt and grime, it's like beating water pretty good actually, you know. So again, like underneath on your engine, like you're not scrubbing this with washing and doing all kinds of stuff, so the spray coating is going to last quite a long time under here. So just come bring this down. It's kind of like that for now. So you can see, like I got a little bit of water over here, but I'm not over, it's not like I put it on the whole car, you know? And then this foam piece, you know, I'd say if this is really starting to deteriorate, like it's all coming off, you know, don't blast it really close because it's just going to take it off. I think these are pretty cheap to replace. Probably need to do mine fairly soon, but that you just want to hold a little bit further away. Just kind of give it like a decent little spray just to like clean it off. Then once you've done this section, now we move on to the main portion of the engine. So if I do notice where there is some electrical, like you see a lot right here, even though it goes all the way in, you know, I don't want to be directing this into there, you know, so wherever I see some electrical, even if it is watertight, I'll just pass over it fairly quick. So kind of like this. Make sure I hit the cowl there. And now you're going to notice the spray coating really working on the broad surface here. So like I said, I put the spray coating, I treated this with the spray coating, I think it was a year and a half ago. So you can really see like the spray coating is going to continue to work, because again, I'm not agitating this over and over and over again by washing or being exposed to the snow and the elements. And so it really, the spray coating does a great job of longevity, especially like under the hood.
David
Okay.
says, so you don't have to cover the battery terminals?
No. You know, I think the thing about it is like my car is off, so it's not pulling any of the battery right now. But it doesn't, you know, it's the same thing. Like you're going to get rain, you're going to get splatter from underneath. It's designed to not freak out if water gets in there or anything, you know, and
there's not, it's not like you're putting so much water on here that it'll arc between the terminals.
yeah, exactly.
So that you would have to like submerge it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. And then like, you know, before I end up going and driving my car anyways, like I'll take the air can and I'm going to blast all the water out of here anyways. You know, there's a couple ways to do it. Like I'm going to use the air cannon today because, you know, I'm not going to end up washing the whole car. But one thing you can do is after you've cleaned this and you've rinsed it off, then you just kind of shut this, you know, not all the way, maybe like to here. And then, you know, you could also like put some dressing on there when it's wet, close this, leave it, wash your whole car. Then when you pull it inside to dry it, last thing you do is you open this, even everything out, dress your tires, and then you're done, you know? So, but first things first, blast it off with the pressure washer. And then I'll ask this while people are asking questions. Comment on here on this engine. What do you want to see me use? I have 3 different options: citrus degreaser, tire and rubber cleaner, and all-purpose cleaner. So you tell me. I think generally I'm using tire and rubber cleaner. All-purpose cleaner is what we used to use all the time back in, you know, before tire and rubber cleaner came onto the scene. And then citrus degreaser is like a fairly new product in the last couple years that you can also use. So you just comment in the comment section there and tell me, I want to see you use that one. And by the way, there's a secret delivery method I'm going to use with one of these. I could use it with all of them, but I'm going to use it with one of them. And we'll see which one you guys pick. So you can ask me some questions now, Chris.
Seeing any questions that we have?
Oh, good. This is getting a little bit lackluster here. I think it's like oxidizing a little bit. Maybe I didn't treat this area with the spray coating. Like you can really see a difference from here to here when I hit it with water. You know, it's still a little bit there, but I might need to retreat that, to be honest.
Tire and rubber wins by $1.
Perfect. Okay, tire and rubber cleaner. Okay, I'll take tire and rubber cleaner and have it on the spray setting, not the stream. So this would be stream. Okay, this is spray. So again, like trying to avoid using too much product, I'll just spray this onto the surface the best I can. All the areas that I want to clean.
Anton says he loves the combination of citrus degreaser and VRT.
Yeah, citrus degreaser and VRT is great. I will say, like, tire and rubber cleaner and citrus degreaser end up leaving the plastic and rubber almost like more rich in color, in like the black color. And so it really creates a great, like, I'm not gonna say like foundation, but it kind of sets you up so when you do go into dressing it, it makes it look even that much better. So okay, so there you go, tire and rubber cleaner. And then because this car is a little bit taller, when it comes to the wheel cleaning tools, you know, I don't have one in here right now. I don't really have I might need to go grab one for Chris's engine especially, but I have all the wheel cleaning tools. I'll need a trim and lug nut brush, but because the 4Runner is a little bit more tall, I'm actually going to grab the fender brush and the angled wheel brush. So I'll just leave the angled wheel brush in there for now. Give this a little bit of a spray. And now with the longer handle of the fender brush, I can really reach like all the way back over here like so. So now I'm just kind of agitating the big broad surfaces with this brush.
While you do that, Lucas wants to know what the difference between tire and rubber and wheel cleaner is.
The difference between tire and rubber cleaner and like our standard wheel cleaner is they are just
wheel and tire cleaner.
Oh, wheel and tire cleaner.
Yeah.
They're constructed of like different raw chemicals, raw material, raw formula. The tire and rubber cleaner is more of a citrus-based type of product. So it does a really good job at cleaning plastic and rubber surfaces, but it doesn't do a great job at cleaning off like brake dust or heavy dirt and grime from wheels. And we know wheels get the most dirty of any, surface on our car, maybe other than your engine after a few months, So tire and rubber cleaner is a pretty like versatile product too. Like tire and rubber cleaner, you would use that to remove oxidation from like even like your plastic trim, like this area, some of this plastic trim or rubber. Like you can see like my rubber on this side is like chalky white almost. Like I would use tire and rubber cleaner to clean that with a towel. And then if I need to restore it with like black trim restorer, then I go over that with black trim restorer. You can use the foam cannon with tire and rubber cleaner. Do people want to see that? Maybe?
They asked if you can. But...
Okay, since they asked, I'll just show. Okay, so let me just set this aside really quick. So actually what I'm going to do, and this was actually my kind of secret delivery method when we get into citrus degreaser, because citrus degreaser actually has foaming agents in it. But I'll just take tire and rubber cleaner like this, and I'll just put this straight on here like so. Okay, I can go full strength. This is a ready to use product. It's not like super concentrated,
like a shampoo.
Yeah, not like a shampoo that's concentrated. Put this straight on here, and tire and rubber cleaner foams like that. It's not like overwhelming with foam, like it will dissipate fairly quick.
Yeah, it's not mega foam, but it will foam up.
Yeah. What's that? I forgot to do the top portion, so put the pressure washer tip back on. So yeah, like you can take that and just put the tire and rubber cleaner like directly onto your foam cannon. We have a couple different foam cannons. We have a standard foam cannon and we have our premium foam cannon. I use the premium foam cannon, and the cool thing about it is that it has two sets of threads on it. One set is for the canister that it comes with, so you can like dilute your product into a 35-ounce canister. But then it has a second set of threads that connects to a 16-ounce, like standard 16-ounce bottle. And then the standard foam cannon that we sell comes in a more skinny canister. I think it's a 24-ounce. That is set to a standard 16-ounce thread style. So you can just connect our products directly on there, and then there's a dilution dial on the top that you can dial it down to like use less of the product out of the canister. And so it makes it, you can really like use a bunch of different products out of the canister or out of the foam cannon to make it foam up and continue to work. I think with the foam, it's like, we talk about it a lot with washing, but foam really does a good job of, it foams up and it kind of sticks. You can see there's still a lot of foam here even after I've like agitated it. So it's like the more it sticks and stays there, the longer it's going to continue to work. So I'm just taking the angled wheel brush and getting the areas that I couldn't get before with the fender brush. If that makes sense. Just like because of the 45-degree bend, I can really get like underneath and in between things, which makes it really, really effective. Like especially like back here, I didn't even hit this area yet. And the angle wheel brush, you know, a little bit longer handle, so you can really access areas that you can't with your standard, you know, fender brush or anything like that. Okay, perfect. Now we rinse this off, then we'll move on to Chris's engine here in a second. So let me just take this and set it back up here. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but I don't like being super close because it blasts and goes everywhere. I kind of like being a little bit further away. And actually, I screwed up because I didn't even touch the top portion. So I'm going to use the standard wheel brush because it's really super soft bristle. And touching the paint, you want the softest bristle that you can get so you don't scratch it. So that's why I'm using the wheel brush, soft bristle wheel brush. I don't know the technical name. Wheel face brush. There you go, Chris. Don't forget the hinges either. There we go. That's much better. My oil change guys would be proud. Lower this again. There we go. If you notice too, like as I'm rinsing it off, I'm moving the pressure washer consistently over and over and over again. I'm not letting it just hang out and sit in one area for an extended period of time. There we go. Okay, done with engine number 1. Any questions? So now what I would do, because if this goes in the shade, it doesn't dry as fast. So I'll just set this so it's sitting like that. I didn't close it all the way, just almost like as if you just popped the hood like that. Now we get into probably the dirtiest engine amongst the 3. Okay, and the one thing I will say is, like, especially like in the fall, you get a lot of leaves like this kind of hanging out. I try to get those out as much as possible because, granted, the pressure washer will get a lot of it out, but if these go into areas where there's water, the leaves will hold on to the water. And if it's near, you know, a metal material, it will promote rust. And so getting your leaves out from the fall is super, super important. So again, I'm going to start up top here. And this is like really, really dirty. So, oops. I'll just leave that. So same process of rinsing this off first. But now what I'm going to do, I'm going to try to blast these leaves out. Granted, I'm going to get it on my car, but I need to wash my car anyways, so. And I can actually turn this pressure washer tip So I know the person who drives this car, and they take it up to the mountain skiing all the time. And so how dirty their engine is doesn't surprise me. But again, like consistently cleaning your engine is going to make cleaning it easier each time you do it. So I tend to say, I don't know, maybe call every like 3 months, every few months. You know, I tend to take my car in to get the oil changed roughly every 3 months. So that's kind of like my routine. I do an engine clean on it, and then when I wash it, I do a maintenance clay with the clay mitt before I finish it. You know, and then maybe do rinse aid or H2O garden gloss like we talked about. Was that last week, Chris? I think it was, but maybe do like a rinse aid or H2O garden gloss treatment after I've clayed it. So you can really see the difference. Like this engine has never been treated with the spray coating. So like the water's just sitting there, you know, and when it does that, it makes it harder to, like you can see there's water over here, but it like hasn't taken the dirt with it. So even though having a pressure washer is like key, you know, getting a foundation of spray coating on your engine makes cleaning it 1,000 times easier. While I finish up rinsing this, tell Chris in the comments what product you want to see next. All-purpose cleaner or citrus degreaser? Okay.
I think some people recently joined us. Do you want to repeat your explanation of if it's safe to use water on your engine and a pressure washer on your engine?
Yeah, well, thanks for joining in. And before I even explain that, just to reiterate, Justin Hoffman of Longwood, Florida is the one who won our racing simulator giveaway for our anniversary sale. So I just want to say that again. I'll say it a couple more times, but if you guys know him, reach out to him, let him know that he won. I think it's pretty cool. But yeah, so like when it comes to addressing water, like, you know, putting water on an engine, you know, for the most part, this is like a total, you know, estimate, I guess you could say, but like roughly from cars from like 2005 to like today, to newer, generally the electrical connections are water safe, or like waterproof, watertight, I guess would be the right way to say it. And you can really see it like in his engine. You don't see a lot of exposed wiring. Like I'm trying to even like find some in here, like maybe like right here, you can see where the wires are going into this connector. But this connection, where it connects the actual thing, is watertight. You know, same with down there, same with over here. And so like getting water in that isn't gonna, you're not gonna get enough water in there to, if any water, to really like turn the dashboard into a Christmas tree, you know. But
And water already gets in there when it's raining or snowing.
exactly, yeah. And so it's not like underneath this car, some cars maybe, but you know, I can see the ground in this car. So like, it's totally fine to like to get water on here, but I do recommend doing it with a pressure washer. So when I say pressure washer, like if you do not own a pressure washer, I recommend doing this process like at the pay and spray. Just pull your car in and do the cleaning your engine at the pay and spray, because you can use the pressure washer there. Just do this process there and then like take your car home and wash it at home, the exterior part of it. You know, so pressure washer is key to doing this process. The other thing, like a pressure washer, the reason why I say pressure washer is because, you use less water, but it's more effective because you're essentially putting like a strong mist coming out. So the airflow and the mist of water coming out at the same time is pushing water around, and it's not like flooding the surface with water like a garden hose would. So if you have an exposed air filter, which his air filter is probably right here, which the air comes in here, goes to his air filter, then goes into his engine here. And so I'm not going to spray water directly in here to get the air filter wet. If it was an exposed air filter, I would cover that with plastic or a big sheet of aluminum foil. So the water, you know, the air filter's underneath like this and the foil's on top. So the water hits it and falls off, but doesn't actually go onto the air filter. Same with exposed wiring on an older vehicle, you know, like 2005 or earlier. If you have exposed wiring, you can cover that with foil and still blast your engine off and then do that. But, you know, older cars that have exposed wiring, like a classic, you know, call a Fox body Mustang, like mid 90s, maybe a late 80s Ford Bronco, K5 Blazer, that kind of stuff. You know, if you're not driving it all that much, like this gets driven to the mountains to go skiing. That's a lot different than like a Fox body Mustang. First off, you couldn't even make it to the mountains if it was snowing because it's rear wheel drive with a 5.0, you know, motor in it. But, you know, you could even just do touch up with like waterless wash and stuff like that. So, you know, more modern cars are watertight, so it's totally fine.
And Anton and Dan are bringing up in the comments that if you're concerned or it's like a hybrid, you could do waterless wash as well.
Yeah, if you're concerned, just revert to waterless wash. Yeah. Any requests on
an older car?
Yeah.
Citrus degreaser.
Citrus degreaser. Okay, so citrus degreaser, I'm just going to show you this really fast. A little bit too dry. So citrus degreaser, I don't have it with me, but normally it comes with a sprayer that you can either use it to foam or not. But if I spray this on here, you can see it almost like foams when it comes out of the sprayer like that. And especially if I agitate it, it will start to foam up. And the reason being is because it even says on the front, it has foam burst in it. Okay, there's a technology in here that once agitated or aerated, it foams like crazy. Okay, and if you've seen a couple of our videos in the last, I don't know, call it 6 months, we cleaned a truck bed of I think it was a Ford Raptor, but I actually use this out of the foam cannon because I want the foaming aspect of that. So same thing I just did with tire and rubber cleaner is I'll just take the sprayer off. I'll empty the straw out by spraying this on here. Set this aside, and I can just put the 16-ounce bottle directly onto the premium foam cannon. Now this is like an RTU product, meaning like you spray it and use it immediately. You don't have to dilute this product. So I can actually not dilute it, put it at full strength, and connect this to the snub nose of the pressure washer. And you'll see like how foamy this is, okay? I mean, it is like mega foam thick, okay? So like realistically, I probably wouldn't use this at full strength. I mean, I can, but I could tone this down a little bit. So I'll turn it all the way counterclockwise. And when I pull this, it's just water now. And then I can start dialing this up to my desired foam strength, thickness, I guess you could say. Like that. And I would foam this part, but I don't want to run the risk of getting foam on the rest of the car. So I'll actually take this off and take this off, the foam cannon head off. I'll put the sprayer back on. Like so, and then I'll just spray this on here because I can control where the spray goes now. So I'm not getting it on the roof of the car, on the windshield of the car. Excuse me. Okay. Now, with this car, it's not elevated, so I don't need the long fender brush. So I'll just take the wheel face brush, dunk it in some water, and now I can just hit the broad surfaces with this. Chris, this engine's gonna come out really nice, actually. You know, it's funny, I can't remember who was here recently, and they kept saying like, oh, I'm so sorry, my car's so dirty, because I was like doing stuff on it. I was like, dude, to be honest with you, like I love dirty cars because you can't clean perfect cars, you know, and part of the thing that we love doing here so much down Polish is the actual cleaning part of it and seeing the transformation. Like that's almost more satisfying than seeing a car that's perfect already. Granted, like it's always nice to give compliments to people who really take care of their car. Actually, I was at the gas station just a couple of days ago, and this guy pulled in with a Ram truck. It's like a Laramie, and it was like that burgundy color with black wheels, and his car was perfect. I mean, he probably washes his car every day type of thing. And I couldn't contain myself. I was like, nice truck, man. Like, you keep that thing so clean. And he thought that was pretty cool. He's like, what, do you work for like a car care company or something? And I was like, no, not me. I'm just kind of your average guy. I'm a streamer. Stream live every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. So again, like I don't have one with me right now. I should go look if I have one over there. But, you know, having a trim and lug nut brush, super helpful to do engine cleaning. Okay, I think that's pretty good, to be honest. Like, this is gonna look amazing. Actually, again, and I always do this, by the way, I always forget to do this portion for some reason. I'm definitely not perfect at this. Oh yeah. Okay, now we rinse it off. Same deal. Do this part first. I'm actually going to turn this a little bit. Anton, who's your pick to win the Masters this year? That's my question. Oh my gosh, Chris. That is like transformed.
Donald says McElroy. Rodney says Scotty.
Ooh. McElroy and Scotty. You know what's funny? Those are kind of my picks too.
Buckeye says Will Zalatoris.
Will Zalatoris. Will Zalatoris is like 21 years old with back problems already. So I don't know. You know, I think it's hard to say. Like, I follow the PGA Tour like pretty closely. And so I don't know. Yesterday in Scotty's presser, he sounded pretty stuffed up. He's having like allergy issues. So I hope it doesn't, you know, he's probably going to take some crazy allergy medicine that might throw him for a loop. He might be seeing 3 pins on every hole. So who knows what happens. But I think my pick is McElroy. I think he just, if he can get over the pressure part of it, he's going to do it this year. So,
Anton says long shot, but I'm betting that Phil Nicholson does.
ooh.
Pablo says Eldridge. Lucas says Morikawa.
Oh yeah, that's a good pick too. Morikawa was a really good pick actually. He comes in leading in strokes gained, and so I think I saw somebody talk about it, but like the last 20 Masters, there's only been 2 times that the person not leading in strokes gained won it. So like that's kind of a proven metric that pretty much says like if you're leading in strokes gained coming into the Masters, you probably have the best chance to win. So
Robert Bryan says Scotty is playing mental games with the quote-unquote congestion.
I think you might be right. The guy's a pretty smart guy.
Pablo says Dale Earnhardt.
Dale Earnhardt.
Pablo already said Eldridge, though, so
Well,
I
he
think
said
Pablo can't
two
decide.
guys that can't win because they're not in the tournament. So
Oh.
Dale Earnhardt's an ex-NASCAR driver.
Shows how much I know about
Yeah,
golf.
exactly. Chris is the guy that goes like, I don't care. I just want everybody to have fun.
Hey, you know, I'm just nice.
You're a nice person, Chris.
Not a
Yeah,
bad
he also
person
said
like you.
Eldrick, which is Tiger Woods, who is on a potential career-ending Achilles surgery. So we'll see what happens.
Jose wants to know how long does an unopened ceramic coating last before it's not good anymore?
How long does an
Unopened.
unopened ceramic coating last before it's not good? I don't know. A
Years.
very,
A
very,
long time,
very
yeah.
not. We'll never know. How's that? Because you're gonna use it before it goes bad. Yeah, I mean, I have bottles that I've opened and recapped at my house that have been there for 5 years. So, and I even have like some of the original ceramic coating in my house. That as long as it's airtight, like it's not exposed to the ambient air, you're fine. It's gonna last a really, really long time.
Best use of your money, though, is to actually use it.
Best use of your money is actually easy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I'm just kidding.
yeah, I think it's something that's gonna last a long time. So, the last engine clean. So the last one we're gonna be using all-purpose cleaner for this one. So again, blasting this off. Okay, so all-purpose cleaner.
So I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
Pablo suggested this. He's skeptical of our pressure washing.
Yeah.
He said he wants to see the engine start. So maybe at the end of this live, we start up all 3 engines.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Prove that they work.
Okay. Sounds good to me. So all-purpose cleaner is like the product that we used to use every time when we would clean engines. It was like the only kind of all-purpose degreasing type of product we had before. So this is all-purpose cleaner is just like a great product to have around because it does a really good job cleaning. But I'm actually curious. I've never even tried this. I'm gonna see if it foams. I've never tried this. So
I saw somebody else try it once. It does. I think it does.
does it? Let's see. Well, I gotta connect the pressure washer. There we go. Wow, it does a great job. Okay, there you go. All-purpose cleaner foams like crazy. You know, I think obviously like a lot of products would foam because the air cannon. The foam cannon is like aerating the product as it comes through. So, again, this car is a little bit lower, so I don't necessarily need to get into using the fender brush. This is just wheel face brush on the broad surfaces like so. Who's skeptical?
Pablo?
Pablo, you don't trust me? Jeez.
You just said if I tried this at home, I would have to cut out the floorboards and drive like Fred Flintstone.
Oh, that's pretty good.
That's a good joke. Gotta give him credit.
That is a good one.
Well, it also depends, Pablo. How old is your vehicle?
Yeah, what car do you have, Pablo?
Because if you've got a 60s, 50s
Pablo, what's your
vehicle,
year, make, and model, and VIN number? No, I'm just kidding.
Also, social security,
Yeah,
credit card number.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, what kind of car do you drive? What year? You just say year and make. I don't even. It doesn't matter about the model if you don't want to say.
2011 Kia Sorento. So he's fine.
Yeah, you're good, dude. And again, like I think the stuff that I talked about, like if your Kia Sorento has an exposed air filter, you know, wrap it with something first. Like this person's air filter is right here. You know, like it's completely watertight. Like you have to unscrew this and access it. Like there's no way I'm gonna get water on that. And all of the electrical is super watertight. I mean, it's all connections here.
Not one visible wire.
Here. Yeah. I mean, they're visible like this, but like where they connect, I don't see any metal part of it, you know? And it's well into the harnesses and connectors that, you know, I think it's probably, see, again, Chris, every time, what am I doing? I always forget this part, every single time.
We anxiously await the day you'll remember.
Never.
To do it in the order you yourself said to do it.
Yep, nope, not me. Forgetful.
That's how you know it's live.
Forgetful Freddy over here. Okay, that's better.
I wonder if we have a Freddy in this chat.
Yeah, probably.
It says, can Adam's APC be diluted, and is it safe on interior?
Can Adam's APC be diluted? Yes, it can, and yeah, you can use it on the interior. Yeah, I mean.
But definitely dilute it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it for sure would dilute it for doing the interior, but yeah, you should be good. I think a lot of, to be honest with you, a lot of like the professional detailers that come in here, they take our APC and dilute it. You know, they have one bottle that's not diluted and they have another one that is diluted. And they use that for the interior and they use the non-diluted for the exterior. You know what's funny is like, I see Adams Polish's product line in so many different ways because when I first started, it was very simple. Like we didn't have all the products that we have nowadays. And so like when we would do a strip wash, like in spring, back when I first started in 2012, 2014, like we would add 4 capfuls of all-purpose cleaner with our standard car shampoo. And that was our strip wash, you know? So like it's weird. Like I think of all-purpose cleaner as a very like useful type of product, but now we have so many different products that are dedicated to like one thing. They like mix and match so much stuff. But like when I'm at my house detailing, you guys would think I'm absolutely insane. Like I'm not using the stuff that you normally think that I would be using, because, you know, I think the more experience you have with it, you start realizing that like there's certain raw material inside of these that do a specific thing. And so like some of them you can mix and match, you know, and so like once I know that and I know the formulas, I can just grab anything I want, just kind of go about it, you know, versus like for you guys that are searching for answers and need more guidance, you know, we're trying to tailor our line to like give you a system that you can just like use consistently, you know. So
cleaner on my Chester says, can I use leather and interior cleaner on my dash and door panels?
yes, 100%. You can, Chester, yeah, you can use leather and interior cleaner on all hard exterior surfaces. That's vinyl, leather, interior surface. Sorry, yeah. And that's what it's really designed for. But I will say, like, if you're working on real leather surfaces, you know, because I would say like this car, right? They're like leather interior, but like I guarantee it's not leather. Like it's probably vinyl because it's cheaper. You know, most cars with like real leather interior, like you got to pay some money for that, you know? And so, but I will say like the leather and interior cleaner has like a touch of alcohol in it, which helps cut through the dirt and grime and food residue and all that stuff. And so if you're doing leather and interior cleaner on those surfaces, I do recommend putting leather conditioner on top of it to help condition, it doesn't matter the surface, but help condition the surfaces you were working on. Leather interior cleaner clean Chester's cloth seats. I would not recommend it. It's not necessarily like the type of product you would use on cloth seats. You know, I would more recommend carpet and upholstery cleaner. Carpet and upholstery cleaner is just formulated to clean upholstery and cloth material. So, you know, I bet if you go back and look at some of our older videos when it comes to cleaning interiors, like standard interiors with upholstery and stuff, you'll see like carpet and upholstery cleaner is like the product to use. That product's amazing, by the way. Like I'll just tell you this, it takes out red wine stains, 100%. Like I've done it myself. So, this is nice and clean. I don't know if you want to show this, Chris, but like, again, this just like all-purpose cleaner does a great job as well. You know, there's not really like a bad product that you'll run into. One thing I will say, like all-purpose cleaner, like if it dries, it can like dry onto the surface. So if that happens, just spray it with all-purpose cleaner again, like so, and take the brush you're using and just like go over it again. It's almost like rehydrating it and re-agitating, like that, and then rinse it off. Hey, yeah. There we go. Much better. I still missed it. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so I'll lower this. I'll lower this, and we still have a decent amount of people here.
We have 50.
All right. So this engine, I've already talked about it, has been treated with the graphene ceramic spray coating already. So I don't need to do that again. Okay, but like that Tiguan needs a foundation of ceramic coating on there. So with this, I'm gonna show you, like, I'm just gonna get most of the water off of here, and then I'll show you how to dress this. And probably what I'll do is I'm gonna use all-purpose exterior dressing so you guys can see that, okay? Now I want you to notice, because the water is still beaded on here, it hasn't dried, with the forced air unit, you can see how easy it is to dry a already ceramic spray coated engine, right? Okay, boom. All-purpose exterior dressing, okay? With this product, less is way more, okay? It's a pretty like thin product when you spray it. So the fact that you can spray it, you can really get it into a lot of the nooks and crannies. So instead of spraying it directly onto these big broad surfaces, I'd rather spray it into the actual applicator. So before I start doing it, I'm just gonna treat like more of the hose areas with just like a couple sprays like that. Spray it into there. Get it into kind of this like accordion stuff here. Get it onto that hose. Get it into that area on this hose. And maybe a little bit over here. Okay, now I do that first so then I can spray this in here. Might be helpful if I had it on spray, you know. So spray like this. There we go. I thought I had it on spray. That was weird. Okay, so little mist, not a stream setting, which is what I accidentally was doing. You can see it kind of goes on white, but it will end up leveling off. So now that I have it into the applicator, I'm going to incorporate it into the applicator like this, okay? And then I can just start applying. And all where the overspray was from what I was doing before, now I'm evening it out all at the same time. So I'm putting this on top of the spray coating that was already on here. And just trying to level this off in all the areas. It's not going to be perfect, but the all-purpose exterior dressing, where you can see it like white in the accordion, is going to level off eventually and look perfect. So I will say this, the all-purpose exterior dressing does provide more of a shine than any of the other products that I would use to dress the engine. So VRT is like, it gives a richness and color, but it doesn't give a shine at all. Whereas all-purpose exterior dressing is going to add a shine for sure. Like, it's going to give it a look. And, you know, this isn't normally like what I would do because I don't like any sort of shine whatsoever on anything other than my paint and my glass or chrome or metal.
But if you like shine.
But if you like shine, then this is a great product to use.
Chester says, could you use a lug brush on the hoses to level it?
Yeah, you could use a lug brush on the hoses to level it. Like, you could even like spray it directly into a lug brush and then like paint it on. 100%, yes.
And
whatever you're...
To know if you could level it with the air cannon.
You can't really level it with the air cannon because it's gonna... I mean, you can kind of, but it's like gonna dry it really fast, you know, because the air cannon has a heated air feature to it, so it's gonna dry the product like even more fast.
Would it potentially also overspray onto other areas?
It could, but I think it would.
Drops are flying.
Yeah, but I think the thing about the air cannon, Chris, is that like you can dial down the speed,
Sure.
and so you know you could dial it down to where it's kind of just moving it around and not really like trying to get it out of the surfaces. If that makes sense. Almost done. The one thing I will say about all-purpose exterior dressing is like for someone like Anton, if he's okay with like, I mean, it's not crazy shiny, but like Anton's a professional detailer, you know, so Anton has a time factor that Anton is trying to hit, right? So when you're kind of pressed for time, the thing about all-purpose exterior dressing is like this can go on every plastic and rubber surface on the car, including your tires. It's like this is a really cool product that you can take and just go dress every tire, all the plastic, like my plastic mirrors, the casings for my mirrors, the engine bay. Like, this is a super useful product to do like a lot of different places on your car. VRT is the same way, you know. So we really wanted like a plastic and rubber dressing that did provide like a little bit of sheen. I don't know if you can see that at all, Chris, but it definitely is giving the surface something, you know.
Your dad says, I'm late to the show. I really like In-N-Out spray. Do you still sell it?
We definitely, well, hey, Dad. But yes, we do still sell In-N-Out spray, and that's actually one of the products I'm going to use here in just a second. So I'm going to leave it like that. I think that looks pretty good, to be quite honest with you. So now we're going to get into Chris's car. And your car is like, it dried pretty good, Chris, to be honest with you. I'm just going to hit it really quick with the air cannon. By the way, the air cannon right now, I have it half power. So I am going to use In-N-Out spray on Chris's car. The reason being is when you look at his engine surface, like his compared to mine, I have a big engine cover on mine, okay? Chris has like these smaller areas. It's not this huge, big, broad surface. So in and out spray is actually a better product to dress, and VRT to dress Chris's engine, because it's more intricate. It's like harder. It's harder to like just do these big, broad surfaces like mine. Okay. What?
Got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
Chester wanted to know what the product was that we used on your engine again, so this one. See if that's
Super creative name.
Yep.
All-purpose exterior dressing.
Because it dresses and it's on the exterior for all purposes.
And the funny thing is we use on the engine, which is not on the exterior. So perfect. You know? So, yeah, exactly. The one thing I will say, it has this gloss acrylic polymer in it. So it actually, like, this feels like really slick. So it has like a protection agent to it. So like I had a foundation of spray coating on here, and I put this on top of the spray coating that already exists just to like bolster it. But the look that all-purpose exterior dressing provides is really, really nice. Like, I've never used this on my engine. I actually like it. I think that my era of car in 2008 still kind of in this, like, kind of had a shine to it, you know? But then, like, as we move later into like 2015, people were like, I don't want any shine on my car, on the plastic or rubber, anything, even my tires. I just want it to look nice and black. So like when you get to like, I do really think about like dressings is a very much a personal choice. And it also is sort of like a period correct kind of thing, you know, like super early. Like my dad has a 1935 Ford. Like I would never put tire shine on that, because back in the 30s, they didn't have tire shine. They had oil rags after they were done working on their cars, you know? So like oil rags, it wasn't shiny. It was like using VRT. So that's why like VRT would look great on that car, you know? But like a Fox body Mustang, like I talked about earlier, I want those tires as shiny as possible, because that was like the vibe in the 90s, you know? And like a 96, 93 Fox body Mustang, like that was like the thing, you know? So,
Donald wants to know if graphene ceramic spray coating would be shinier than all-purpose exterior dressing.
Graphene ceramic spray coating is not nearly as shiny as the all-purpose exterior dressing. If anything, it's like, it more would like come out like VRT, to be honest with you.
More matte.
More matte. Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to make the plastic, it enriches the color, but it doesn't make it shiny. So when I get into, so on Chris's end, like I said, in and out spray is like a better option with VRT. And in and out spray is essentially like an aerosol version of VRT. So with like this portion of his engine right here and like all these intricate areas, you take in and out spray and you spray this in here. Now my tip for in and out spray, something Adam taught me, is if you spray and hold it, it kind of overloads and goes everywhere. And it creates like a really freezing thing coming out. Like it can ruin your sprayer. So when you use in and out spray, it's about quick sprays in like the areas that you want to get it. It kind of makes it a little bit more even in the areas that you want it. I'll never forget the first time I saw Adam doing this. I'm like, why don't you just hold it down? He's like, oh, no. That's not how we do it. He always has a reason for everything. It also, I mean, it's windy today, so you can't really see it very well. But, you know, if you keep holding it down, it creates this huge fog. Also, I mean, it already does create like a huge fog already. But not as bad if you just hold it down the whole time, you know?
Especially if you're indoors.
Yeah, especially if you're indoors. So with in-and-out spray, it really does a good job of like leveling it at the same time. And with the in-and-out spray, you know, it creates this kind of fog that lays down nice and even, which is really nice about it. You know, one tip, little secret area that you can use in-and-out spray on, which I think is pretty cool, is you have like a rear-mounted spare tire, like on a Jeep or an off-road vehicle. You can use in-and-out spray to spray it into all the tread to make the rear spare tire look amazing, you know? So after I do in-and-out spray, I like to follow it up with VRT. And because I'm not working in like a huge area, I don't need a ton of the product, just like a little bit like that. And then I'll rub this into the surface, and now I can just go over, you know, there's a little bit of overspray from the in-and-out spray, and now I can just kind of go over these surfaces too. Even everything out and just really make it look perfect.
Since Anton can get the aerosols, he says that there's a paint canning service here that he gets diluted VRT put in.
Oh, really?
So that he can use it as an aerosol.
What the heck? That's crazy. That's really cool. I'm gonna have to tell.
Creative uses of our products.
Yeah.
Anton is an innovator.
Anton is for sure an innovator because Anton's in, is it Thailand?
Philippines.
The Philippines.
I think.
And yeah, I think it is the Philippines. So Anton has to get real creative with our product, which I think is so cool. Okay, I think that's pretty good, to be honest. What do you think, Chris? Is that really your car? Doesn't look like it. Okay, last but not least, the Volkswagen. I'm gonna just, if Chris is showing you the after on that, just so you hear a lot of noise, I'm gonna be.
I've been turning it down for years.
So when I'm gonna do the spray coating, like I am gonna do on this engine, I tend to spend a little bit of extra time blowing the water out because I don't want the excess water to get on the spray coating and like ruin it. So I spend a little bit of extra time making sure that like there's virtually no water in the areas I'm gonna be using the spray coating on. Okay. Spray coating time. So with the spray coating, I do actually like to kind of spray this on a windy day like today. Obviously I recommend doing this inside, but I'm outside so I don't have much of a choice. So I'm actually going to, like, if you guys look at me spray this would be like pulling it, big spray like that. I'm just gonna spray little sprays like this to control how much of a mist that goes everywhere, because I really don't want it to go over on the side of the car or any of that. So areas that I can't spray coat or like fit my applicator in, that's what I'm gonna focus on right now. So kind of like in here, and you'll see it's like blue because the UV indicator in the product, when there's a lot of it on the surface, you can really see the blue in it.
And because we're in direct sunlight.
And we're in the direct UV sunlight, so
But that'll go away, right?
it will go away. So I'm trying to spray as little as possible because it's just like the wind keeps. That was quite the gust. Feels like we're at,
car went flying.
yeah, it feels like we're at Augusta National right now. So the reason why I spray it first is because then I can always level it out after, right? So now I take the applicator, because it's windy, I'm gonna come away from the car and just spray a little bit in the applicator. And now what I'm doing is I'm evening it all out onto the surface. And this isn't like anything special. This is just like getting it as even on the surface as possible. And what's gonna happen too is like along the way, you're gonna pick up more product because you sprayed it in here already. This is one of my favorite processes to do, is spray coat an engine bay. The thing about it is, like, spray coating an engine bay, I mean, if you look at it right now, like, it looks virtually the same as I did the 4Runner and the Subaru. You know, aside from the UV indicator that will end up kind of going away eventually. But, like, the look is roughly the same, but the benefit is, like, beyond what any other product can do for, like, an engine bay when it comes to protecting it.
Buckeye says, is that ceramic spray coating?
Buckeye said that?
Yeah.
There you go, Buckeye. That's the product right there. Graphene ceramic spray coating advanced. So just going through and leveling this hull off. I will say, like, applying the spray coating to an engine, you know, it probably takes longer than, like, doing VRT or all-purpose exterior dressing and all that other stuff. But again, I think, like, for me, this is something that I'm doing to, like, create a foundation. If it wasn't windy today, I would have pulled the trigger hard and got a better mist on everything. Because if you can pull the trigger hard and get a mist, it's almost like using in and out spray. If that makes any sense. Like, I can atomize the product, let it mist, and get it in more places, you know, in tighter areas and everything. But, you know, the way this looks right now is, like, ridiculously good. And, like, you know, you guys, if you were here from the beginning, which if you were and you're still here, kudos to you, because this is like a little bit longer of one of the lives that we normally do.
Yeah, we're at 92 minutes.
But you could see how easy it was to clean my engine bay because it's spray coated already, you know. So just getting a good foundation of the spray coating on, you know, if you haven't done this to your engine, I do recommend it. And then from there on out, you can just dress it with, like, all-purpose exterior dressing, VRT, in and out, whatever you want. And you can kind of reinstate the richness and color and everything with those other products, but the cleaning portion is exponentially easier because you have the water beading effect with the spray coating now applied to the surface. So pretty much done for the most part. You can see it rainbowing right here too. So on the gloss surfaces, I let it rainbow. And again, like with the spray coating, you know, you're not going to get as many high spots. It's going to be a lot easier to remove the product on the gloss surfaces than it would be if you use, like, the regular ceramic coating. And then the regular ceramic coating, you don't have the ability to spray it, and so you can't get it into the nooks and crannies like you can with the spray coating, you know. So really what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to find all the areas where there's excess product, try to even that out. And then what I always like to do is I'll grab a borderless gray towel, like this guy, and then wipe off on the gloss surfaces to even it off. And the broad plastic surfaces, I kind of wipe off everything, to be quite honest with you. Just to, yeah, as much as I can get. You know, I don't want, like, a ton of excess, like, hanging out. Like, I already applied a ton of it to these big broad surfaces. I just don't want the excess. I think it's just good. It's proper practice to wipe off any coating that you apply on any surface you apply it to. Maybe with the exception of applying the spray coating to a, you know, convertible top. You know, I don't wipe it off of a convertible top. You can't really do that anyways. But plastic, paint, metal, any of that stuff, I'm leveling it off because I just don't want the excess to, like, crystallize, and then, you know, it creates a surface that I don't want it to look like, you know. So like I said, the spray coating application definitely takes longer than the other ones. But I think it was I don't know if it was Buckeye or I can't remember who asked, but they said, is the spray coating shiny like the all-purpose exterior dressing? No, it's not. Like that looks almost like new plastic to me. Like brand new plastic almost. So it doesn't really provide a look, it just creates an evenness. But really like the spray coating for me is, there's so much more to it than just like if it's shiny or not. For me it's more, is it gonna bead water to make cleaning the engine easier? That's really like, ceramic coatings, you know, have developed from like keeping something perfect and like looking amazing to a functionality of like making it easier to clean in the long run, you know.
Does dust stick to the ceramic coating easily?
Dust does not stick to the ceramic coating easily. No, it doesn't. You know,
it dries fast enough.
Yeah, but like the thing we have to realize is that like when the solvent's coming out of it and it's curing, it starts to get sticky. But you wipe that off. You level that off. You know, you don't leave it like that.
And then it's smooth.
Yeah, and it's such a thin layer that like it's not enough. It's not thick enough to.
It's not like a glue layer.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I don't know. How's that look, Chris?
Great.
Looks great, he said. Good for us, huh? Look at us, huh? What's that from? That's from like the...
I don't know, man.
It's like Paul Rudd when he was on... what's that like Eat Hot Wings show?
Hot ones?
First We Feast Hot Ones, yeah. So look at us. Huh? Look at us. Okay. All right, I think I'm done. That was a lot. 3 engines, 3 up, 3 down. That's what we say in baseball. There you go. So 3 definitely did different processes on each. You know, I think for you guys, you get to pick which one you like the best. The only recommendation I do give is doing the spray coating as a foundation. You know, on the car in the middle, the Subaru, we didn't do the spray coating, but you know, I think that looks amazing. That's kind of the more traditional kind of dressing on an engine with the VRT and the in and out spray. You know, like my dad said, he loves in and out spray. You know, I think if you're somebody that has used in and out spray before, you know how good it is. You know, I think it's kind of like it's totally underrated product, you know. What?
Should we start them up?
What?
Should we start
Oh yeah, someone wanted me to start these up. Give me 1 sec, I gotta get the keys really quick. Just wanted to make sure that the cars work. Okay. Let's start with the R-Line Tiguan. Oh no, it's freaking out. Just kidding. Anytime you start a Volkswagen with the door open, it beeps at you, tell me. The only reason I know is I have the same year but in the Atlas of this car. So there's car number 1. Chris, you have the keys to that car. I can start mine up. I will say I have cleaned an engine and dressed it and like left the applicator underneath the hood. So don't forget to take this stuff out. Okay, there's car number 2. Let's check Chris's car. Wow. Only if we had like a cooler car is to have like a V8 or something. That really like... No, I'm saying that's for everybody. We all have 4 bangers, it looks like. So yeah, no problems with water. Like I said, like all of these cars V6 4-cylinder. Maybe it's a 4-cylinder, turbo to 4-cylinder. I'm not sure. But these are all like very much more modern cars. What year is your car, Chris? 2016, and I'm pretty sure I never know how to read this, but I'm pretty sure this is either a 2021 or 2022. And so, you know, all of these are watertight when it comes to the electrical connection. So if you have a more modern car like in these eras, you're fine to go to just hit it with the pressure washer. So no big deal. So there you go, the ultimate engine cleaning showdown. You guys got a few different processes. Again, if you want to go back and watch it, see the different products that you have and the different processes that we can do, check it out. Go watch it back, see which one you like. But I do recommend spray coating as a foundation. Makes it look amazing, but I know the next time we come back to clean this, it's going to be way easier to do. So that's really the secret to getting a good foundation to make cleaning your engine easier. So next time you're going to get your oil change, do not forget this video. This video is for you. Clean your engine, take it to your oil change, and just wait for the comments you're going to get from all the techs when they deliver your car back to you. So thank you guys for watching. Again, congratulations to, what was his name? Why can't I think of it? Congratulations to Justin Hossman for winning the Racing Simulator giveaway. And next week, we'll talk about exhaust tips. That was requested. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next week.